Well, if you watched my previous video, then you basically know that Santa's a greedy ass little shit that saves all the best video games for the last 3 months of the year. Nothing's better than begging your parents for a $40 or $60 video game that they don't give a shit about, and nothing's worse than buying all those video games and telling your family that you're broke and you ain't got shit to spend on them. So let's dive into this Barney sack of fucking Christmas gaming games and see what else we can pull out. It's Crash Bandicoot Warped, or Crash 3, depending on whichever you feel like calling it. Crash Bandicoot 3, this game was freaking amazing right from the get-go, and it had a surprising turnaround because most people hated, or at least critics hated, Crash Bandicoot 2. But Crash Bandicoot 3 took it to a whole nother level. I mean, first of all, who can forget the commercials that this thing had? You had Crash, who was in a swimming pool half the time. Not only that, but you also had Crash, who was pretending to jump out of an airplane that was still on the ground, and he was pretending and like rolling around. You had frickin' Robbie Knievel in the commercials trying to teach him to go over some shitty ass jumps. I mean, this game was hyped up to be everything. You could fly planes, you could race cars, you could drive, or not race cars, well, motorcycles, and do all sorts of other cool shit in this game. So I mean, this game really set the bar for what they wanted to achieve. Not only that, but you have to go back to Crash 2, which they were also making fun of Nintendo for being lame and like a boring platformer. But it's kind of hard to make fun of Nintendo when they revolutionized 3D gaming platforming. This was 3D, 2D gaming platforming basically at its finest. So I mean, they really tuned it in with this game. And what's funny too is by the time this game came out, Crash was PlayStation's main mascot. They had Lara Croft for the past few years, but for whatever reason, that popularity kind of waned a little bit. I mean, it's strange to think that a hot chick would wane a little bit, but they were starting to get away from it, especially you notice with this title. You started to see less of Lara Croft and more of Crash. Not to mention the Tomb Raider game started really to nosedive at around the third one, which is around the same time this game came out. But it's almost a strange passing of the baton for like the main franchises. Really, after this point, Crash was the mascot for PlayStation. That was the main guy everybody saw. Yeah, they saw Lara Croft, but it was always Crash that was center after this. So I mean, they really made Crash into something else. PlayStation wanted to make Crash their Mario, and they essentially did after this game, because they ended up releasing Crash Bash the next year, which is kind of like the Mario Party clone. They released Crash Kart Racing, or whatever, CRT Kart Racing. That game was freaking amazing. That was the PlayStation's answer to Mario Kart. So any kid that really had a PlayStation wanted freaking Crash Bandicoot. They're like, we want this game. But I never remember too many people begging for it. But all I gotta say is they marketed the fuck out of this game to make kids really want to buy it. And essentially the marketing worked, the game was decent, and it even made me curious to get this game, to a game that I really didn't care too much for the past couple of games. But this one seemed different, or at least the marketing for it seemed different, and it made me seem like I had to have this. And here's to you, Santa Claus, for making this the happiest Christmas, happier than when Bing Crosby tapped dance with Danny fucking Kaye. Hallelujah, holy shit. Where's the Tylenol?